emotions, the flow of emotions and posture. This one has been a really interesting one for me to really delve into. I knew about it, but I hadn't really decided to explore the postures or the physical response that went with emotions. So I end up cycling around, as you have read, or as you will read if you're interested, to stripping everything back to just the male-female interaction, or the men-woman biological interaction, just based around breeding and creating a good offspring for survival, because a lot of what we do comes back to the survival instinct. So it was all about balance. Okay, so what is attractive to us should be balance, health, everything's circulating fully, and there's no restrictions or limitations that are not, no, if we say just perfect world, there's no restrictions or limitations, everything is circulating fully. So I wrote of this in that when you encounter an attractive person of the opposite sex, there's no ungrounding craziness that we experience today. If we were fully circulating, then what would happen is we would just expand on that, like almost like a flower blooming, and the body would just fill out to be kind of more obvious, more of itself, to attract and integrate with someone of the opposite sex. And it happens pretty much in the same way. There's a few distinct biological male-female differences, but when everything is in balance and we're functioning normal, what would happen is, yes, the chest comes up and out, there's this proudness, so there's this filling, but there's a sinking down at the shoulders, a dropping of the back line of the body to keep that filling grounded, rounded out, balanced. This softening and filling asks or offers the breath a freer space to move within the body, and so the breath will become fuller. It will also probably speed up a little bit to increase that pulse of life that we have. And this means that our spine is going to undulate a little deeper. Now, our spine should undulate every breath that we take. There should be no waiting for Kundalini rising or going to a class to get this done. Our spine should be undulating every breath we have, like those wooden snakes, those toy wooden snakes, moving just like that because we breathe. When we encounter from that space someone of the opposite sex who is delightful to us or attractive to us, then this deepens, which then increases circulation down into the pelvis. Because the spine is undulating deeper, the pelvis is undulating deeper. A bigger rock atop the thigh bones. And the only way this can happen is if our thighs are aligned underneath our pelvis. And so our legs are never together. For women, our legs are never together. If we shut our legs, if we bring our legs together physically, hold them there, we cut off that rocking of the pelvis. We cut off the rocking of the spine. Back to the perfect world. Sorry. So as the spine undulates fuller, more space, more flow goes through into the pelvis. And the pelvis, the soft tissues of the pelvis, they blossom. So there's bones, there's a circle in the base of the pelvis, bony circle, and that's where we blossom from, both for men and for women. Women have an opening, a petals spinning out. Men have a ballooning, engorging, if you like. So these two things are meant to come together. Now, if this is the case, if we've started from that balanced place, if we are feeling this and it's just enhancing who we are, we stay with ourselves. We don't even worry about them. We just feel ourselves, wow, okay, I'm really responding to this person. This is me. This is great. And we stay with that. We stay with ourselves to make sure we keep that circulation, we keep that groundedness. then if the timing is right, if everything around you is right, if everything that is relevant to you is going to support this joining, it would happen. And this is really important, because if everything is not right, it won't happen, because there's no pressure, there's no deficits, there's no desperation anywhere in the system, and so it just doesn't happen. But through that honoring of yourself, honoring of your response to this other person, you've honored the other person as well. So no one's feeling let down, not seen, not important. We're both feeling good. And because everything is freely moving, it came from a space of freedom, and it enhanced that. If the timing is not right, you acknowledge what's happening, and it's like, oh, it's not, we can't do that now. That's not going to work for them. They're in a relationship, whatever it might be. I'm in a relationship. It's not going to work for me because that wouldn't support my relationship, if that's the sort of relationship you have. Then it would return. All the energy comes back in, and it cycles, and it returns back to normal, back to neutral. So it's not about just freely having whoever you want. That's not it, because to do that, you're dishonoring someone, which means you're dishonoring yourself. Somewhere in you, you're dishonoring yourself. But to honor yourself, to honor what you're feeling, is to have to honor someone else, because as soon as you dishonor someone else, you're dishonoring yourself. You can't have both. You can't be an honorable person if you are degrading someone or hurting someone. But you can't. It just doesn't work that way. So this is how we should be, okay? But we're not like that at all, because we've got many, many years of interrupting the rhythm of our breath within our body. So I want to talk emotions, because that's how we got here. And grief was the one that really came up for me, because how grief is meant to work physically, so all the answers are physical. In Kahuna, the Kahuna understanding, universal principles, the Hawaiian Kahuna knowledge person, the back of the body is the future, the front is the past. Real simple explanation. You can look down, you can see the front, you can look back into your memories, you can see the past. You can't look and see the back of your body. Well, some people can, but not many of us. That's the future. We haven't been there yet. So when the breath is freely moving, the back of the body is being pulsed just at the same speed as the front of the body, because that's what keeps us present. In grief, the front of the body, the past has finished now. We've lost something. And so the physical reaction of grief expressed is, it's like a punch. It sucks in. It's like being hit. But in that motion of being hit and that curling around and holding yourself, the back of your body is being filled. So the future is being energized in that moment of honoring the grief. And there'll probably be, if you're doing this freely, there'll probably be a wailing, a howl, here's the key. So when we hold a posture, when we put a posture into our body, we bring that energy up. So just doing that the grief is bringing up the energy and the memories of when my dog passed. Which, sorry humans, that's way more painful. Old humans, I should say. Humans who've lived their life. It brings it up. So posturing the body in a certain way is going to bring that energy and then associated memories along with it. Bring it to our forefront. And that's what happens. So it's a punch. Grief is the pain, the curling, everything comes forward to hold and to honor what was, to honor the love that you had for something. But there's a movement into the back of the body. The ribs go back, which is the future. The energy has to go into the future. Now, the interesting thing is that if our body can't move in that way, grief can't be expressed. So what stops our body moving in that way? The shutting down of any emotion so that we don't feel it creates a block of energy and motion and stops our body moving, which is a bit more to comprehend than if I say holding our shoulders up. Holding our shoulders up and back and having good posture. So once we've done this and we've been a good posture person, we have stopped the rhythm of our breath moving our rib cage. The breath no longer moves into the back of the rib cage. Because we're so good at this, grief can't get us anymore, can't reach us. We cannot fold in around it. And I'm not saying we don't feel grief. I'm saying grief is not processed properly at the correct time. So the effect of that one thing takes away our ability for emotions to posture us. So what we've done is through repetition, we've created tension, however that looks for you. And that tension doesn't let go. It's busy holding our body up and holding our bones in a certain way off the earth. We are not grounded anymore. Our breath is not able to move that area of our body and the emotion cannot express. Now this, we're told from a very young age, don't be so happy. Don't be so ecstatically joyful. I do it to my dog all the time. She's nuts. And a friend said to me the other day, she's so ecstatic, and she is. She has a great sense of humor. And she drives me nuts because she's so happy all the time. But we shut that down. We shut down the excitement and the joy in life from a very young age. We're told not to be so excited about things. We're not taught to embrace it. This actually makes us angry. So anger and pain are messengers to tell us that we're doing something wrong, that we're not treating ourselves well, that we have made a poor decision in the past and now we're having to deal with the results. They are messages to say, pay attention, what you're doing is not working. And so the fun thing is when we shut down an emotion, we create anger within ourselves, because why would we do this to ourselves? Regardless of why we've been told, why are we doing this to ourselves? It hurts. It's denial of who we are. It's shutting down our honest expression, and that creates anger that we're then told we're not allowed to feel. And we go straight into another one. Another restriction, and we are ratcheting because every time we have this denial of an emotion, we have a physical tensioning which activates. So every time we have a physical tension that activates, we have a restriction in our breath, and the breath is unable to move into more parts of the body, and we become rigid and stiff. And when an emotion is activated, called up, whatever, however this works, it's always, every single one is desperate. It is desperate because it hasn't been heard, and it's also like a shaken up lemonade bottle that you're about, if things carry on for long enough, the lid gets popped off and shit goes everywhere. at the wrong speed, at the wrong strength. And that is the world we live in. And then we get in trouble for doing that. We have so many restrictions that we have placed on us. And the stage we're at now in the evolution of the universe, the world, however you look at it, is that we are also carrying generations worth of stuff. Now, we can blame as much as we want, and we can dive into it mentally, and we can look at all these things mentally, and we can get someone to divine and psychically read and all these other things. Like, we can do that. But we have all of the information we need right in our body, and we have one of the biggest things we need to learn is how to feel ourselves and how to stop beating ourselves up and disconnecting from ourselves. So to learn to feel ourselves is a very, very scary thing to do, because it gives us the power, gives us the knowledge of the universe, but it gives us the power to be and do anything we want to be. But the way we get that without causing more damage or draining or restrictions somewhere is that we be where we are now. We be what we have created through lifetimes. We be the expression of everything that has gone before us. And we sit in that acceptance that it requires to be that which we are. Then from there, we can start peeling off the layers. Otherwise, we're going to end up having to just keep looking and finding and seeking. And it's not okay to me that we age poorly and that our bodies degrade, and that we are, the people are out there waiting now for the aliens to bring us med beds, or the technologies of med beds to be released to the population. We don't need that. Science and every single healing modality has been created around unhealthy bodies. None of the tests have been done on a healthy body. So if you're getting tests, what are they telling you? Because they have never tested a healthy body. Yet we are taught to ignore it, to focus on emotions, the mind, the spirit. And then when the body starts degrading, we're taught to focus on science as the answer to fix us. We don't need that. The fact that the human mind cannot fully comprehend this yet, and all the greatest minds in the world have not been able to fully comprehend this yet, tells you this physical being that we have is the highest form of technology that there is. All we have to do is listen to it. How we listen to it is we feel it. And we rest in the fact that we do not know anything about how this works, and we do not need to. We need to know how to feel ourselves. And the beautiful thing about all these restrictions that we've created in our life is they cut off circulation, they cut off nervous system feedback. We do not feel ourselves anymore. We are numb. We have been in pain for so long. We are maybe super painful and being distracted. We do not know how to just feel ourselves and take responsibility for this highest form of technology that exists. This is it. This is it. You have it. It's just really scary, and I know it's scary, to sit in it and claim that power. It's really scary. But that's what we're doing. With everything that I'm sharing, that's what we're doing. It is about really remembering that you are everything that you need. You are all the questions and all the answers. There is nothing else. And it doesn't mean you have to live a certain way. It doesn't mean you have to live in a cave like a monk. In fact, those things I don't think help. I know people who've done it. It didn't help them. And I mean, everyone's different, but it's a distraction. We're here living in this world, surrounded by these things, these computers. You know, I even question, do I put this stuff out? Because without electricity or petrol, how do I get this information to people? This is the world we live in, though. This is a benefit to people, this technology. But just always be aware, how do I get this without power, electricity, or petrol? And use that to start peeling back some of the junk that you've got in your life. So that's emotions, very roundabout. I hope that helps, and yeah, just start somewhere. There's the videos on YouTube, the interrupting the stress response and the supported rest position, and then there's the online courses to get you started. It doesn't matter where you start, because the reality is no one can feel themselves anyway. And when you start peeling into that, at whatever, from whatever angle, from whatever place, you've got, we've all got a lot to release so that we can remember who we are. And it's the greatest adventure that you can ever have. Way cool, because it's within you.